what I remember of Indonesia is the smell of charcoal and like stuff that's on the grill. That's like the first one of the first things when I think of Indonesian food, grill. That's like what I like the most.
Today on Dirty Linen's Summer Series, we are going to Indonesia. We are chatting to Dion Sanusi from Melbourne restaurants Yoi and Kata Kita. Dion, you've been a guest on Dirty Linen previously, and it is a delight to welcome you back to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me again. Good to be back.
Yeah, well, it's really good to have you. And I mean, I said we're heading to Indonesia. I don't know what you're going to talk about when we ask you to talk about your favourite flavours, important meals in your life. But yeah, what have you got for us?
So my favourite flavours of Indonesia is the first is the aromatics, the aromatics of every dish. Like every Indonesian dish is has just all the flavors is very strong. It's has a punch to it, or it's very sweet, salty, and it's just sweet, salty, and full of umami. So that's the basis of Indonesian food. There's a lot of lemongrass, garlic, eschalots, galangal, and those kind of ingredients are what showcases Indonesian food. And then so that's the first thing. The second thing is sambal. I think that's what Indonesia is for Indonesian food. It's the key item for every dish. Sambal is just a pairing for. It could be for chicken, it could be for seafood, it could be for anything, it could be only for entrees. It's just we love our chilies. I think if it's not spicy, for a majority of Indonesia is it's just it feels weird.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what else have you got? What's the third thing you want to talk about? And then we'll dive in.
I think the third thing that the flavors is just what I remember of Indonesia is grill, the smell of charcoal and stuff that's on the grill. Just those that's the first one of the first things when I think of Indonesian food, grill. So it could be we could chicken satay on the grill. It could be a whole fish on the grill. So just having that burnt sweet skin on the chicken on the fish skin. That's what I like the most.
Yeah. Wow. I love the way that you've sort of danced around the elements of a dish, the proteins or whatever it is that makes up the body of a dish. And you've given us this really cool series of, I guess, bases or augmentations or, atmospheres around the food. And I think that's so telling. It tells such a story about Indonesian food. So yeah, you've got this base, whether it's a marinade or it's a paste of some sort with those key flavors in it. Yeah, that fragrant galangal and lemongrass and the sweet and the salt that all goes together to create this incredible flavor base. And then, the sambals, when you get an Indonesian dish it's you've got the main element, but then you've just got this incredible series of supporting characters, a chorus of flavors that's around the dish that really brings it all to life and allows you to experience a dish in so many different ways. And then, you've got the cooking method, the charcoal, which is so enveloping and just really, I guess, allows the flavors to speak in a different way. I think I'm so excited that you haven't actually mentioned a dish as such, but it's just all these kind of building blocks.
Yeah. So if for dish, 3 dishes that I really will be the ikan bakar, which is just that's one of the components. So from grilling, which is just a whole fish marinated with all the garlic, galangal, and all the turmeric. It depends on which other which sides of Indonesia. Well, my preferred one is just from like Bali, which is was very basic, but it's just what we love to eat. So and then it's on the grill, and it's just a simple sweet soy sauce, and then we just eat it with rice and like the fish. So that's one of my favorite dishes. The second will be also from Bali, which is babi guling, which is in Bali they usually cook it like the whole pig, and they'll have the whole pig get being rotisserie for like about 5 to 8 hours under like a bed of coconut skin. So they burn the coconut skins to create the fire, and then so that creates more flavors into the pork. So, and then the process is just, the process is very time consuming, it's very labor intensive, as they don't have technology over there. They have like one person just wheeling the whole pig for like 8 hours, and then like marinating the pork like every few minutes with like coconut oil and all the bases of Indonesia, like all the marinades, like that includes like kunyit. Kunyit is like turmeric, which makes the skin a bit yellow. So, and then that's like one of the most staple food in Bali. We just eat it with rice. That pork, which is cut up with that crispy skin, with a side of like lawar, which is like an Indonesian small salad, that is composed of snake beans and like a sambal that's mixed with it. So that's the second thing that I like the most. Third would be eating noodles on the street. So, which is like it's called bap mi. But noodles is called bap mi, and then we say bap mi warung, which means like warung is like a tent on the street. It's like a tent on the street. So it's like really, really street food where, and it's usually open early in the morning. Like that's the best food that you can eat in the morning, like for breakfast, just noodles.
What do you like with your noodles?
So in different areas of Jakarta, there's different like types of noodles. So they could be just like with chicken. It could be where if there's like a more Chinese influence, like there's like Chinese side of Jakarta, where there's like they've pork in it. So like my favorite is just a mix of, because if the store has it's not halal, they have minced chicken and pork with it, and then that's like, I think that's just the best combination.
Yes, sounds so good. I think it's really interesting you mentioned halal, because I know that Yoi is halal and therefore you don't serve pork there, you don't serve alcohol there. But Kata Kita, on the other hand, is, you know, it's really, the babi guling is a feature there, and the cocktails are incredible. What made you want to open another restaurant that serves a different style of Indonesian food?
I think because we are very Yoi, we are able to showcase, okay, this is a food that is not halal, and this is the more basic what people think what Indonesian food is. But then there's another element where there's a lot of food that has a Chinese influence in it, because my family is more Chinese Indonesia. Indonesian, like my grandma migrated to, or my parents migrated to Indonesia and lived in an island like north east of Jakarta called Belitung. So over there, like then there's a mixture of like Chinese food, like combined with Indonesian cuisine. So that's what's happening a lot in Indonesia, where like there's a lot of Chinese influence on the food. So that's what I was like, okay, then that's what, like, it's still Indonesian food, but then there's no one that really showcases in, not yet in Melbourne. And also then I thought, but then there's not, I couldn't showcase Balinese food in Yoi because we have to keep it, we want it halal. So that's what we thought, okay, let's just make another venue that showcases these other components that we can't do at Yoi.
You know, your grandparents that migrated to the island, is there a dish from the islands that you really like? I know the Indonesian food is so diverse. There's like hundreds of different cuisines, right?
Yeah, so it's actually a dish at Kata Kita where it's called mie Belitung, which is it basically means noodles from Belitung. So it's like a prawn noodle, like a prawn stock noodle. It's a very that's my grandma's recipe. She taught me how to make it. So it's like a very thick gravy kind of noodle soup with like fried with like a lot of prawns, with a lot of, and then she cooks it with beef also. So then she combines a beef prawn stock. So it's like something that we usually eat for when we're in Indonesia. My grandma always makes it when there's like a special event or like an occasion that we're just gathering together as a big family or just friends and family for like about 50 people. And then she just makes all these noodles because she can just make it all at once, and then she can serve about 50 or 100 people. So and then I asked her like, how, like, I like, because she does it so easily, and I was like, do you usually do this back at Belitung? And she was like, oh yeah, that's what happens on a weekly basis. Like, I like sometimes our family does it, or because Belitung, what she told me is Belitung is a small island, so everyone knows everyone, and the community is very strong. So when they gather, they tend to like to eat this noodle. And then when they migrate, and then a lot of people move to Jakarta because Jakarta is the capital city here. Not many people know how to make it. So then they're always like, all my grandma's friends and our friends, we don't, like, before I didn't even know what it is until like when I was about 15 or 16. And then we just started keeping it, like my grandma just makes it. And then we go to the family house, and yeah, it's just something that for me is just like having the menu there at Kata Kita is just a reminder that like that's like what we usually eat as a family, especially now during like the pandemic.
Yeah. Do you really miss, because I know usually you go back to Indonesia, you know, a few times a year. Like it must be a really strange time not to be able to travel there.
Yeah, we really like miss our family. Hopefully we can travel soon next year.
Yeah.
Next year.
I hope so too. Well, Dion, it's been amazing to just I really feel like I'm embedded in Indonesia. I can smell the charcoal, and I can feel the lemongrass wafting around me. So thank you so much for sharing some of your favorite flavors with us today.
Okay, thank you.
This is Dirty Linen, and I'm Dani Valent. We air the issues that the hospitality industry finds hard to talk about, hearing from different people with unique perspectives. We want to hear from you as well. If you have something that needs to be said about a topic, get in touch so we can include your perspective. Contact us at dirtylinen@deepintheweeds.com.au or hit us up on Insta at Dirty Linen Podcast. We can't wait to hear from you.